Hey folks, Kevin the editor here. This is the third of several videos from the Tuesday evening, April 23rd, 2024 Polk County Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum held at the Cedartown Performing Arts Center. Parts 1 and 2 of this series include candidates from the District 1 County Commission race, and now we move on to the District 3 County Commission race. Don't forget that the candidates will be back live and taking questions for the second Chamber Candidate Forum coming up on Thursday evening, April 25th, 2024 from 6 to 8 p.m. Grab a beverage, get comfy, and don't feel bad for pausing for bathroom breaks. So begins part 3 of this series.
Thank you. That concludes the questions for District 1. Running for District 1 is a reminder, incumbent Jordan Hubbard, James Vines, Debbie Connolly, and Michael Garrett. We'll now move on to the County Commission candidates for District 3. The candidates include incumbent Ray Slugger Carter, John Paschal, and Bill Butch Garrett. We'll begin with Ray. What inspired you to run for county commissioner?
Well, to answer this question, I have to go back a lot of years. I previously served in Rockmart City Council for over 9 years, and thereafter I took up an assignment or appointment with Polk County Development Authority. I thoroughly enjoyed the service there and many accomplishments of those years. And I think we honestly made our place a better place to live, work, and play. As an opening was created on the County Commission in 2018, I was approached by numerous citizens across the county and encouraged to seek the open seat. I took that challenge, actively engaged in election campaign, and engaged the role of commissioner. I did that with a desire to again bring meaningful improvements to our local quality of life. To say that I love my community is an understatement. The rural traditions, greatness of family, it's everything I wanted in life. My desire is to see that Polk County citizens have an opportunity to enjoy life here as much as I have, to prosper, work, raise your family, and watch your children raise their family. It's with that understanding, background, and commitment that I again place myself as a candidate for Polk County Commission.
Thank you. John?
The thing that inspires me the most for the running for county commissioner is born and raised here, just like I guess everybody here on stage, but 52 years of living here, I take pride in Polk County, or being from Rockmart. Again, born and raised, worked for the city of Rockmart for 10 years. Left Rockmart, went to the city of Cartersville, which I know is another county, but I'm still close to home. Worked for the city of Cartersville Fire Department for 18 years, so 28 years in public service has inspired me to continue what I was doing. And like what Michael said earlier, I've been told by numerous people that I have a servant's heart. In some ways I see that because I cared for the people. I didn't make it 28 years in public safety by doing nothing different. And the characteristics of someone who is a servant is to provide duties for others, be devoted and be helpful. And I feel that I've always been devoted to my community, to myself, to my family, and this is my way of continuing to give back to the community at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill? Butch, sorry. Noted.
To start, I'll say that I've never aspired to be a politician. I've never worked in public service whatsoever. I decided to run for office because I feel that the common man of this county doesn't have a voice. And I think that our government tries to control us way too much. And so if elected, I plan to do something about that.
Thank you. Next question is, what experience and skills do you possess that make you qualified to serve as county commissioner? Begin with Greg. Should I go by slip?
So you're right, doesn't it? I answer tomorrow. I've been employed with IBM for over 24 years and performed various leadership roles in data management, business analysis, and organizational management in multiple Fortune 500 companies. My other prior experience includes 18 years providing management and IT consulting for BP Amoco, as well as the U.S. Department of Energy nuclear defense programs. And initially, my employment started right here in Polk County, the Polk County Police Department, where I spent 6 years. I had the honor and privilege to serve as a Polk County Commissioner for the last 6 years. I've also served 9 years as City of Rockmart Councilman, as I mentioned, and 3 years with the Development Authority. I believe, along with my fellow commissioners and Nexus staff, we have effected numerous changes and improvements in our county operations. We successfully brought actions against the landfill contractor. We continue to focus efforts within public safety, emergency management, and Polk County's first paid professional fire service personnel to complement our great volunteer professionals. We've invested in technology and automation, communications and transparency in efforts to properly update our operations, both physically and functionally, always with the goal of serving our citizens better. I have stepped into any situation requested and provided my leadership capabilities and talents to the various solutions. My hope is these efforts will bear fruit for all of Polk County and pledge to continue with that same level of effort.
Thank you. John?
Again, it's going back to my ability of being a leader. It's asking the question is experience and skills. Being in public safety for, again, 28 years, I worked my way through the ranks at both fire departments. So being a leader, I've been able to accomplish that. I've been able to help people all across the state, not only, again, locally, but being an adjunct instructor for the state of Georgia. I've taught numerous students, thousands, through the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. So giving back not only locally, but giving back on the state level as well to ensure the safety of the state. When it comes to the fire service, also leading through various programs. I volunteered for a Little League program for Rockmart for 9 years. Very involved with the Little League program and developing it, and again, giving back to the community to ensure that the kids have somewhere to play ball and enjoy what they like doing. That's all I've got on there.
Thank you. Butch?
Yeah, I've had many jobs throughout my life. Most of my jobs have been businesses. I've ran for myself, roofing business, 10 years in restaurant business, indoor banking cages, pawn shop. Came across many problems during that time, and I've always been able to solve them well. I'm very good at making things ergonomic, saving time, saving money. I feel that I could do the same for the county.
Thank you. Our next question is, how do you plan to address the most pressing issues facing our county, such as infrastructure, economic development, and services provided? We'll begin with Ray.
Well, first of all, I believe the success of local government is found in the quality of life of the citizens it serves. That means we must build and develop the infrastructure required to support the community's goals, efficiently and effectively deliver the services that support the community's goals, deliver the services that support that infrastructure and the needs of all citizens. We must also ensure we invest and support the viable economic development pathways critical to providing a balanced live, work, play environment for our workers. We have to address these needs in totality, being careful not to let one decision not consider the impact across the board. This is not a simple task. Rather, it requires much research, a constant broadening and understanding of all government rules, regulation, and laws. It takes time, and perhaps most importantly, the community's expectations, goals, and direction. More specifically, we must actively engage with the Polk County Water Authority to develop further capacity and deliver expansion along development corridors. That must include some level of future wastewater treatment, which is a primary constraint to both residential lot and building size in the county. Acknowledging that the cities are our economic hubs, we must coordinate closely with them to assist in commercial and industrial development zones, harmonizing our regulations and investing in growth potential. We must recognize these investments are best focused and understand that the derived benefits are across the entire county, not just the affected location. From a county perspective, our major financial focus in this area must be improving and expanding our travel corridors. As I mentioned in my introduction, we've placed a great focus the last 6 years on overall service enhancements. We successfully brought actions against the landfill contractor and many other things I already mentioned. Challenges remain, but we have a cohesive group of commissioners that knows how to identify and tackle these challenges. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
So the pressing issues with some of the infrastructure is, I've decided to do this. I've made a point to go around to some of the departments and speak with the department heads as to what the needs are, immediate needs. And I'll use one of the examples that I've found is the courthouse. The courthouse is in dire need of repair. So not knowing what the checkbook is or what the budget is, there's money that needs to be found, whether, and I know on down, but whether it's grants to repair, grants to rehab, or a grant to rebuild the county courthouse, it needs attention. When it comes to the economic development, by all means, we need the economic development in the county. We need to grow, just like what everybody on stage has been saying, the growth is coming. And it's a matter of controlling it and doing it right. So the services that it's going to take in order to draw in the industry that we need to make the money happen, then we can expand services once we have the industry in here. Household or housetops or rooftops actually helps to pay, a lot of the things that goes on, but the industry's where we actually make our money as a county, and that's what we need so that we can grow as a county to be prosperous.
Thank you. Butch?
Obviously, our water and sewer is gonna have to be addressed for the coming growth. But before we do that, we need to make sure that we fix our jail and our roads. That's the two biggest concerns that I've heard. The jail's been in disrepair for at least the last 12 years. And, best I can tell, nobody's come up with a fix. So I think somebody needs to address that, get an engineering firm to come in, assess the damage, and get some cost analysis on it, and get that fixed. Because with growth, we're gonna have more crime, more inmates, and we need to be able to address that at the time.
Thank you. Our next question is, how do you plan to foster collaboration and communication between the county, cities, and community organizations? We'll begin with John.
Well, as everyone else has already said, the biggest thing is the intergovernmental communication. I do not disagree with that one bit. I feel that communications has been lost between the cities and the county, for whatever reason, do not know that. But there is talk that needs to be happening more so that we're all in tune with what is going on within the county.
Thank you. Butch?
I can honestly say that I don't know how you would accomplish this. It's very hard to get different organizations to come together because everybody wants to do it their way. So the main goal would be to just ask everyone to come to the table and offer their suggestions and as a group come up with a plan.
Thank you. Ray?
It's already been mentioned, the intergovernmental committee is already organized. I'm a member of that committee. It's monitored and coordinated by the Development Authority of Polk County. Not meeting as much as we should, not getting as much done as we should. So yes, that needs to move forward. But collaboration and communication between the county and the cities is a critical element overall local government. It takes a recognition of a few truths. One, all city residents are county residents and must be afforded the same level of county services. The cities are our economic hubs. We must intimately work with them to appropriately develop the growth opportunities that best serve all of Polk County. We all benefit when our cities benefit. Number three, we should all be trusted and equal partners in our endeavors, willing to share the efforts, costs, and burdens that come our way. Four, the ever-increasing cost of government operations will one day drive us to consider further consolidation of services, whether that be code enforcement, building inspection, fire or police protection, and even recreation. We all should be positioning ourselves in that direction to provide more cost efficiency to our future generation. Fifth, none of us can wear our feelings on our shoulders. We must be candid, open, and honest in all dealings. And lastly, we must ensure our managers, department heads, and all of our staff share in constant communication with their peers at the city and county level, and that those managers communicate needs up and down their organization. Squash the rumors, acknowledge the facts. I think that's what it takes for us to work together. For the issue of community organizations, I guess the one thing that probably I think we would hear the most and the worst is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. We'll try not to do that too much.
Thank you. The next question is, how do you plan to engage with and represent the diverse interests and perspectives of all residents? We begin with John.
Willingness to listen, develop programs to assist. Again, just like it's already been said and discussed, Polk County is now a very diverse community compared to what I grew up in. And it's changing every day. And the only way that we are or would be able to engage would be to come up with programs to help. Not sure what's out there. As far as the diversity and interest of the diversity, I do know that here in Centertown there are quite a few different soccer fields that the Latino and the Mexican community plays at. Not so much in Rockmart. And again, making it fair across both cities and the counties, I feel that, coming up with some type of format to come up with programs to engage each and every one from each and every representation would be the best thing we could do for that.
Thank you. Butch?
The way I would handle any situation is I would make myself available for someone, that had an issue to reach out to me and tell me what that issue is, and then, collaborate with my people and come up with a solution for it. Without knowing what the issue is, I couldn't actually give you an answer.
Thank you. Ray?
I've always considered myself an open book. I won't hesitate to speak my opinion and voice the way I see things. Not always right, but that's okay. I welcome any call, text, email, or other direct communication from any of our residents. If I know and have an answer, I'll give it truthfully. If I don't know or consider other unknown facts pertinent to the answer, I'll take the time to pursue that before I provide a response. Again, my focus is accuracy, truthfulness, and transparency. I think I'm unbiased towards any diverse resident, group of residents, interest, or perspective. I will listen and I will engage actively, with any bias being what is best for the county as a whole and any impacts brought into its residents. I think one of the greatest communication channels our residents have is to attend our meetings, be involved in public hearings, understand opportunities to provide input in both local and regional development plans, strategic plans. I was so pleased with the turnout we had for the strategic planning activities last year. And that made a great impact on the content of our strategic and master plans, which are critical to the operations of both the county and the city. I would intend to continue those kind of efforts and encourage our residents to get out, get involved, and let their voice be known. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is, how do you feel about pursuing state and federal grants? We'll begin with John.
By all means, yes. Our prime example is, Slo's already mentioned, Polk County's now started a career/volunteer fire service, which is great for the citizens of this county. I know we've got to come up with more money to run this department, and there's a safer grant out there, just as an example. The safer grant can be used by the county to pay for hiring personnel and eventually the county absorbing the cost of the personnel to man these stations and trucks. So by all means, yes, any type of grant that is beneficial to the county and to the citizens, yes, we need to pursue.
Thank you. Butch?
I think any and all money that we can get, we should, provided we don't have to give up any of our freedoms.
Thank you. Ray?
Well, state and federal grants are highly necessary for the revenue of Polk County operations. That's just a fact. We have to have it. However, we have to consider many factors and stipulations of these grants. One, they have matching funds, typically a small percentage of the total grant, and often very viable for the county. We have to consider the operational requirements that the grant places on us, both for continuance and during the period of the grant. We have to look at mandates, either directed or implied in the grant, things we must do which may be outside of our normal operations or character. We have to look at long-term commitments and the capacity to contain cost. And finally, we have to look at the implication to abide by other state and federal guidelines not normally applicable. As I say, state and federal grants are necessary, It's a way for us to get our federal and state tax dollars returned back to us. So we do pursue those as aggressively as possible, and we'll certainly continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is, what is your vision for the future development in the county and ensuring it remains a beautiful place to work and live? And I'll provide the same clarification as I did before. This is for outside of the city limits. We'll begin with Butch.
My ideas for future development, we should be looking at the younger and older age groups that may be looking to downsize in homes. Can't necessarily afford a 1,200 square foot home because it would cost you $250,000, $350,000 now. So we need to look at quite possibly lowering the minimum square footage of a home. And as far as keeping it beautiful, I don't think that we ought to put more regulations on people. So I think they ought to be able to do with the property within reason what they would like.
Thank you. Right?
Well, as I've already mentioned, my desire is to see Polk County citizens have an opportunity to enjoy life here as much as I have, to prosper, work, raise your family, and watch your children raise their family. We are and will likely always be a rural community. Unmanaged and uncontrolled growth is visible all around Atlanta. My goal since the early days in the Rockmart City Council was to avoid the negative aspects of urban sprawl. We can accomplish that through building and zoning regulations, planned development activities, and coordinating with interested developers to ensure our visions are maintained while building theirs. I believe Rockmart has been successful in that regard and hope the county will follow in that same light. We must recognize where large lot residential fits, and the same for higher density residential. We should identify the characteristics we desire and embed those in our guidelines and building codes. We also have to respect the individuality of landowners and their right to pursue their own character, but ensuring that doing so does not create public or health risk outside their boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
My vision for the county is to live it better than what we've had up to this point. How we make that happen, that's yet to be seen, because you have to take each day in stride. So to improve upon what we've got, bringing in the infrastructure, bringing in the industry, building the tax dollars up so that we can expand to offer more to the citizens of the county is what we need to do. Because I want to leave it a better place than what I found it. My kids will be coming up, just as it's been mentioned before, my kids will be in my spot one day, regardless whether they run for county commissioner or what have you, but they are a citizen of this county. So we all need to be striving to leave this a better place for each one of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is, what are your thoughts on putting the EMS contract out for bid regularly? We'll begin with Butch.
Being that the EMS service doesn't cost the county any money, if they're doing a good job, I don't necessarily see that you have to bid it out, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Thank you. Ray?
Well, as a couple of other candidates had already mentioned, my return question to this topic is, why? What is the benefit you're seeking in doing so? The current contract is zero cost to the county. Do I expect the rebid winner to pay us for the privilege of the contract? And if so, how would they recoup that through their cost structure to the patient, our citizen? I haven't had any issues, haven't heard of any issues with response times, available ambulances, or staffing. None that I'm aware. And finally, while most discussions on this topic focus on the healthcare providers of Advent Health and Atrium, which are local to us, what is to prevent a new vendor from Atlanta or other national provider from stepping in with the best bid package, possibly removing much of the latitude that current residents enjoy with the existing providers? We're in good shape. I'd like to leave it there for now.
Thank you, Ray. John?
As far as bidding out the EMS contract, like it's been said, and me being a small business owner in this community, I constantly have to go to bid if I want to stay in business as a lawn care and landscape service. So being fair across the board is only fair to the citizens of this county. Regardless whether it's Redmond EMS, Floyd EMS, we want to provide the best available service to our citizens within the county.
Thank you. Next question is, what are your thoughts on reentry services that ensure individuals experiencing incarceration get services to reduce recidivism? We'll begin with Butch.
Well, for one, I don't know a lot about these services that are available, but I do believe that we should have something that the people help that they can get when they get out of jail to keep them from going back. I mean, I experienced this myself personally. I've got a daughter that just got out of jail today. She needs help. She needs a lot of help. And so I will be looking into this starting tomorrow and get more educated on it. But as of right now, all I can say is it's needed, and I would be okay with helping to fund it.
Thank you. Ray?
About a year and a half ago, Rachel Haddix, our jail administrator, approached us being the commission, about a service proposal. That proposal was for these reentry services. It was proposed, unanimously approved, and funded this past fiscal year. Lydia Goodson is now our Polk County Offender Services Coordinator and is actively working this program under the direction of Rachel Haddix. I look forward to the accomplishments of this effort and being able to report its successes in the future. We're already hearing of those today. If you desire to learn more about this valuable asset, please reach out to Lydia or Rachel at the county jail.
Thank you, Ray. John?
I like Butch just said, don't really know what's out here. Don't know a whole lot about this topic. And listening from what other candidates have said, I know there are things are out there, and I'm going to have to educate myself on it because this is something that I did not realize that there's a need for as such in this county, let alone within the state.
Thank you. Next question is, do you think that special consideration should be given to Polk County businesses when purchasing or contracting services? We'll begin with Ray.
Absolutely. And we already do that. As James mentioned, there's state law that allows for that. And within our procurement guidelines, we set a reasonable percentage, I believe it's 10%, don't hold me to that, of total bid deviance, where if there's a local contractor or vendor provided, that we can select that bid over the lowest bid. We have to ensure they can deliver the service or product at hand. There are many instances, though, that bids really pertain to large projects that are tied to state and federal funds where a local provider may not be able to meet those guidelines. We really have to look at all the aspects of the procurement regulations when making those decisions. But I can assure you, we always have and will continue to give preference to our local vendors within the measures of the law. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
Yes, by all means, we should keep the money within the county. Have a local company who can provide the services to do the work, then by all means, then I believe if they're the bid winner, then they should receive that to be able to do the work, provide the services for the county to keep the tax dollars here.
Thank you. Butch?
I agree as well. I think we should keep the work within the county.
Thank you. Final question for District 3. How do you plan to combat turnover for county employees? We'll begin with John.
As it's already been said, the county employees are the backbone of the county. They're the ones who make it what it is. Whether it comes to storm cleanup, jail administration, Polk County PD, all this involved. They're what Polk County stands for. And that's what a lot of people see when they come into the county if they do not live here, let alone us seeing them going up and down the road each and every day. So to combat the turnover, that's a tough question. That's a nationwide question, because things have become so competitive when it comes to compensation, whether it's insurance, whether it's pay. It's tough to keep somebody here. And if someone is not happy, by all means, we're not gonna be able to do anything to make them happy. You could offer them $1.50, $2 an hour raise. That might suffice them for a month or two. Not to say that they're gonna stay, and as soon as the next little quirk happens, they're gone. So it is a very, very tough thing to do to keep people happy as an employee. So, and I face it daily with me running a small business. So I know what I'm up against. I know what the county administration is up against. So the little things matter, and making the people understand that they're important to this county is the biggest thing we can do.
Thank you. Butch?
Okay, to start with, there should be adequate compensation for the employees. Everyone should be treated fairly and equally. And if someone finds that they're not being treated that way, they should have a means of reaching out to someone that could look into the matter and see if it's rectified. Generally, that seems to be the issue. As long as money's not the issue, they're just not being treated the same as their coworkers. And that's something that's very important to me. I've worked a great deal of people in my life, and I've always treated everybody the same. And since I haven't taken up very much time because I'm not a statesman, I don't talk a lot, I'm gonna take just a second to explain myself. I am here not because I care to be in this position. I don't see how I cannot be in this position. The people need a voice. They need somebody with integrity, somebody that will always do what's right. To be in this position, to have an ear that they can always whisper into and have that person go to bat for them. The littlest detail in somebody's life matters. And so many times, they don't have anybody to express that to that cares. You know, I don't care how much money you have or what your last name is. Everybody's equally important. Thank you.
Thank you. Ray?
We are,
Combating turnover.
turnover.
Yes, sir.
The landscape today in employee and employment is much different than it was even 20 years ago. More young people are willing to job hop, resume build, or simply seek a new adventure. I don't currently believe that our turnover statistics substantially deviate from the norm of government operations our size. That said, the county has taken multiple steps to aid in both employee recruitment and retention. We entertained the Carl Vinson Institute conducting an overall evaluation of job positions, tasks, and responsibilities in line with corrected job descriptions. Positions were then aligned along standard grades, with each grade having built-in step wage increases. The employee knows he's going to get a step increase at certain career points. These are normally biannual. Implementation of the position and salary plan included upward pay adjustments for most personnel. This was in fiscal year 21. Since that implementation, we provided an annual wage increase across the board, with a net increase of 13% in the last 3 fiscal years. These increases have applied to base rates and all steps within the salary plan. So it wasn't just on the first, it was the entire plan shifted upward. We approved multiple reevaluations to increase grade of requested positions, as well as increased entry levels for many hard-to-find skilled positions. We absorbed multiple years of health insurance increases, not passing on the same to the employees. We also provided the insurance rebate last year back to the employee to offset premium costs. That was a one-time deal as we transitioned to new insurers. We sought and recruited professional leadership in several positions, including assistant county manager, HR director, public works director, and fire chief, bringing years of experience in employee management into our county operations. We modified our retirement plan to adopt an 80-20 rule for retirement eligibility. We modified the retirement plan to focus on 403 investments, offering greater flexibility and investment for newly hired employees. And finally, we approved multiple years of annual stipends to all employees over and above their regular salary. We have an intense focus on our employees, and they are critical to our operations. They are the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. That concludes the questions for District 3 County Commission candidates. It is 7:59. I do apologize about the time. We're going to take a short 5-minute break. When we come back, we will return with our school board candidates for District 6. That is Paul Drew Williams Jr. and Christina Robinson. The school board candidate for District 3 is...
That concludes the third part of the candidate forum held on Tuesday evening. We've got 2 more candidates after a brief intermission, so tune in for at least 1 more video from coverage of the Chamber's candidate forum here on polktoday.com. I'm Kevin, the editor. Thanks for watching. If you want more video like this, make sure to grab a monthly or greater subscription on polktoday.com.